Here's another thing showing whether or not, it's time to rock, whether or not we just had hit bottom. Well, if you look at all the previous cycles before, going all the way back to the very first cycle, about 14 to 18 months before the halving event is when Bitcoin started rallying from the bottom, okay? And after the halving event, really going parabolic. And this happened every single time. And we're about 16 weeks away, or 16 months away from the next halving event. So we're like right there. And I do think we are at the moment where we start recovering slowly leading up to the halving event, and afterwards we get that parabolic rise once again. I think we're right there. So another indication of bottom. Of course, holders. If you look at how much Bitcoin holders are holding between 5 to 7 years, I mean, that's just parabolic. It's just up. No deviation whatsoever. So the holders obviously are holding for long time. Now, that big interview of SBF, I hate to make everything about SBF all the time, so I'm going to skip this, but in case you guys are wondering, that Good Morning America interview, I guess it happened, but I don't know what time it was. Maybe it was 7 a.m. or something like that. It was really early. So it's like they posted it. It's like almost 10 minutes. So, rather than like sit down with you guys and cover this, I think I'm going to make a separate video, like a reacts video to what he said here. But I did want to give you guys a reminder, if you wanted to watch it. He pretty much states the same thing that he said yesterday with the New York Times deal book event. But yeah, I'll play that in a separate video for you guys. But in case you want to check out ahead of time, it's on their Twitter page. And then lastly, let's get to this thing, this death blow from the CFTC. I know a lot of you guys tune in waiting for this. So apparently, the chair of CFTC, he did a private crypto kind of event. I don't know if it's a conference or speech or what. He was speaking at Princeton University, and he snubbed Ethereum. He's talking about commodities. And he claims now only Bitcoin is a commodity. This is a complete 180 because just recently, a few months ago, he was arguing in front of Congress that Bitcoin and Ethereum are both commodities, and there's other crypto that's also commodity. Not everything is a security. And he was trying to basically make the CFTC the watchdog of crypto. Obviously, on the other side, Gary Gensler is no fan of that. Gary Gensler wants to declare everything as security so that he can control it all, right? And apparently, something happened behind the scene. Maybe because of this lawsuit with Ripple, and SEC really does not want to lose that, or Gary struck a deal with this guy, or something else happened. I don't know. I don't know why he would backtrack. So I think this is pretty significant that he publicly declared that he thought Bitcoin and Ethereum both were commodities, and now he's just saying only Bitcoin is commodity, which is what Gary's saying, right? So I don't think this is good. Not good at all. So I guess we will see what comes from this. Gary right now is in hot water, right? Because of this whole FTX thing. Maybe he resigns. He was forced to resign or something happens. There's definitely an investigation going on with Gary. But one thing I do know, and I've speculated this before, that Gary and SEC is very desperate right now because it does seem like Ripple is going to win that lawsuit. Ripple has all the evidence they need from the prior chair and the prior directors of the SEC that declared Ethereum a commodity. They have that ammunition, and they could use that to fight the SEC, and they have enough resources and power and money, money to fight them, right? And I do think the SEC is desperate. They don't want to lose that case. They've won all the cases against the smaller projects because they just didn't have the manpower and resources to fight them, but Ripple does. So I think in a desperate attempt, if the SEC really realizes that they had no shot of winning, there could be a desperate attempt for them to try to declare Ethereum a security. Then it would take the defense away from Ripple, because then what else are they going to say, right? They haven't done it yet. Gary has not come out and declared Ethereum a security. By definition, it's still a commodity according to SEC. He has not reversed that. But maybe that's his, like, the ace in his pocket. He's waiting to play that at the very end. And I don't know if somehow he forced the CFTC chair to comply or what, but I don't like this. I don't like this one bit. So just want to share with you guys. Be careful with that. Now, you may be wondering, well, what if Ethereum does become a security? What does that mean? Is that the death of Ethereum? No, I don't think so. But it's definitely going to turn a lot of people off, because that means Ethereum will have to report to the SEC. They have to become like a business. There's a lot of compliance stuff that they have to show, and auditing reports and all this stuff that basically turns Ethereum from an open source project into a corporation. And no one wants that. No one wants that at all. So I don't think it'll kill Ethereum, but definitely set them back in major ways. So it's definitely something we don't want to see, but will it kill them completely? No, I don't think that's going to happen. But we'll see. I don't know why, again, the CFTC did a 180, but it's not good. Not good at all. Blackrock says the next generation for markets is tokenization. What does he mean by that? He means tokenization of property, of assets, of stocks, equities, of everything, even securities. So if BlackRock is saying this, most likely this is going to happen. So here's the thing. BlackRock yesterday, at the New York Times event said that, yeah, they had some exposure to FTX, 22 million or something like that. That's like less than a penny to us. That's how little it means for them. So I don't know if they were just trying to divert blame away or what by saying, oh, we were affected too. But anyways, BlackRock, you guys know, the biggest asset manager on earth. They got a lot of control. They pull a lot of strings behind the scenes, right? And if they're saying next generation for market is tokenization, and basically all these things will be tokenized, well, you better pay attention, because that means it's coming, or it's already being developed. So I don't know if BlackRock entering this space is good. In fact, it's probably not good. But I would say that because they're talking about it and possibly making things happen behind the scenes, it could be good in terms of allowing other companies to follow and jumping in. But as for BlackRock getting in, probably not good. Probably not good. What else? Well, as for Bitcoin, well, here's the Coinbase Premium Index. Some of you guys may find it weird that sometimes Coinbase prices are a little bit higher than everywhere else. That's the Premium Index, because Coinbase is the biggest exchange in the US, right? So when a lot of people FOMO into Bitcoin, they tend to do it on Coinbase. And that's why sometimes you see Coinbase, their premium, go up. It may be 10 cents more, $1 more. It could be $10, $100 more sometimes. We have seen the Premium Index during FOMO runs get really wonky, like really off from the true price. But you could see with the FTX bank run, you could see the premium actually dropped to negative territory, and now it's back to the green. So does this mean that we're finally over the contagion? The spread of FTX is over, and now we are finally recovering, and that was our bottom? Could be. Plan B, bring back his stock to flow. I'm glad to see that this one doesn't have a huge Bybit link on there. Because all of his charts has this huge Bybit link. That has been removed. But anyways, again, Plan B is asking if we have experienced bottom and now we're flowing back up, right? Yesterday I mentioned about a stock to flow got invalidated. You could see we didn't have that blow off top, right? That went above basically to 100,000. It was cut short, I would say, in December of last year, because that's when Fed Chair Powell started getting real aggressive and started talking about the massive rate hikes coming due to inflation, right? So I feel like we didn't get that blow off top, so it was invalidated because of it. But you know what? Maybe Bitcoin finds a way to validate it again. If so, that means, according to this, Bitcoin has to like reach back up to like $1 million by 2025 to put this back in motion. Will it happen? I don't think Bitcoin's going to $1 million by 2025. Will it get to $1 million eventually? Yes, but not in 2025. But we will see. We will see. The PCE reading, which is measuring inflation. Okay, and why this is good? Well, inflation is not going up as much as expectations. In fact, the headline inflation is at 5% for PCE. Okay, we know that CPI came down to 7-something%. PCE is now 5%. And if you look at the things that Powell cares about, they're going down. So that's good. Core inflation went up 0.2% rather than 0.3% expected. Of course, that's good. So core inflation is still up a little bit, but it's slowing down. Headline inflation, okay, the overall inflation, 6% versus 6.2%. So these are all good things. These are all good things. So why is this good? Because, again, Powell just spoke yesterday about pivoting, about possibly slowing down his rate hikes. He doesn't want to go too far with the rate hikes, right? He doesn't want to overstretch or overreach. And this is another piece of data that he will be looking at. He talks about PCE more than CPI. So this will be another data point that he's going to be looking at. And if it shows that inflation is starting to taper out, well, he will start doing the same with the rate hikes. So this is actually pretty fantastic news, really fantastic news. And of course, we had other economic data that came out showing that ADP jobs report was coming in low, showing a slowness. Mortgage market or housing market is still slow. That's showing a slowness, and those key pieces of data and others also is go keep Powell and the rate hikes away. So DXY also dropped significantly. A lot of you guys have been paying attention to DXY. DXY just yesterday was like almost 107, 106 point something. This morning it dropped to 105. That is fantastic. Hey, look at that. It just dropped to 104. Okay, we're coming down from a high of 114, 115 to remind you guys. These are all great things. When DXY goes down, that means people are taking money out of the dollar. It's losing strength. And where's that money going? Well, into other investments. Another thing that's helping with inflation, I got to throw it in there, whether you like it or not. President Biden's been trying to push this cancellation of student debt. It got rejected by a court, and then he went to the appeals court. Appeals court also rejected this. I think more people like this because this is less inflation. Because in order to cover all the student debt, it wasn't. I think the estimates was coming close to closing in like another, I forgot how many hundreds of billions that the Federal Reserve needed to print to cover all this, right? Of course, inflation, why we got here, is because of all the printing. We don't need more printing to cause inflation to go higher, right? So this is actually, I think, a good thing that the student debt relief plan is no go right now. No go. I don't know if he's going to keep fighting this, but I think this is good. We don't need any more money printing at this point. Just too much has been done already over the last few years. And it's not just the U.S., around the world. That's why inflation around the world is pretty bad right now, pretty bad. And you know what? This is what happens when you have inflation run too high, too long. It becomes worthless. This is fiat currency in Venezuela. Okay, it's not garbage. Well, literally, I guess it is garbage because it's just laying on the floor. But this is like not newspaper or recycled bags or whatever, right? This is literally fiat money people are throwing away because they're worthless. The stack of money that you need to buy anything is laughable, right? And this is why inflation is dangerous. People don't realize that. They don't think that it adds up, but it does. A lot of countries around the world suffer hyperinflation, and that is why it's so worrisome. So those are, I guess, I mean, this is not good news, but, you know, we got some good data this morning. Also, it appears China is going to do a 180 after the historic protests around many cities in China. It seems like they are going to loosen their COVID policy, the zero policy, forcing massive testing and locking down communities, towns, and cities. Even with one case of COVID, they are actually going to, it sounds like they're going to backtrack on that. Maybe not removing everything altogether, but I read in here they're talking about how they're going to still open up supermarkets, schools, even cinemas, so that people can still do stuff in their town. They're going to cut down a lot of these massive testing procedures, right? And they're going to allow businesses to operate, most importantly, because a lot of people sitting at home can't work. They're becoming broke because of it. So this is good overall. And why else this is good for every other country out there is because if manufacturing continues forward and there's no more shutdowns, right? Well, this is obviously going to improve supply chain issues around the world, right? Not just for China, but around the world. U.S. is the biggest consumer of China goods. So it's going to help us. It's going to help Europe. It's going to help everyone. So this is also really good news. Good news overall.